In this episode, we talk about why the recruitment of about 69,000 assistant teachers is now under question. We also give you an update about what the Supreme Court said yesterday about the Kolkata rape and murder case. But first, we talk about the Badlapur sexual assault case. Hi, I'm Shashank Bhargava, and you're listening to Three Things, the Indian Express news show. Earlier this week on Tuesday, a series of protests broke out in the city of Badlapur, that is located in Maharashtra's Thane district. These protests were held over the alleged sexual assault of two 4-year-old children by a janitor who worked at their school. Hundreds of protesters gathered at the Badlapur railway station to demand speedy justice in the matter, bringing Mumbai's local train services to a complete halt. Indian Express's Vijay Kumar Yadav has been reporting on this case for the paper, and he now joins us to talk about it. Vijay, tell us, what do we know about what happened in this case?
Surely, Shashank, this is an incident of a child sex abuse case wherein two 4-year-old girls from a school in Badlapur city in Thane, near Mumbai, they were sexually assaulted by a janitor from their school. So basically, these incidents took place on August 12th and 13th, but it only came out 2 days later when one of the parents of the child, he was informed by her daughter that she was experiencing pain in her private parts. So he informed other parents of the kids from the same class, and one of them also suspected that her daughter might have also targeted by the same accused person. So both these parents of both these two kids, they decided to take their kids to a private hospital and get them examined. And their call turned out to be a very important for them, as the doctors confirmed that they were sexually assaulted by someone.
And what happens after the parents find out? What do they do next?
After this, very next day, these two parents approached the Badlapur police. Police registered a FIR in the case and arrested the accused within 4 hours. However, one of the parents in this case, they actually faced very bad time at the police station. They were made to wait for long hours. The mother of one of the two victim kids, she is 2 months pregnant lady. She had to stay at the police station and at the hospital for all these formalities for more than 10 hours. This is what we got to know while speaking to the relatives of the victim family.
Right, and it was after this that the news about the incident spread and eventually prompted hundreds to come out and protest. Can you talk about what made that possible?
Right. So after the news of this incident was coming out, local politicians were discussing this. They were giving interviews to local social media channels, and news of these incidents got spread widely. And in these interviews, local politicians were appealing to the people to come and stage protests in this case. And they even chose a day for this. And on Monday, August 20th, many people, people in thousands of numbers, people gathered outside this particular school and at the Badlapur railway station. They were very angry. They were not just the local parents of the kids, local residents, and even there were also people from the political parties. Because police did not anticipate the protest could be so big, the mob went violent. They vandalized this school and they stopped local train services at the Badlapur station. What happened after this? Because Badlapur station is one of an important railway stations in Mumbai suburban railway network. Because of this, long distance trains were affected. They could not come towards the Thane district or Mumbai side. They have to be diverted, and many local train services were suspended on the day. Then after almost 6 to 8 hours of protests, police finally dispersed the crowd by lathi charge. In retaliation, many protesters pelted stones at police officials. More than 10 police officials were injured. The protesters were basically demanding they want the accused be punished with the maximum punishment, that is hanging. But the ministers who were like meeting protesters, they were trying to convince them, saying that they have already arrested the accused in the case, and they have even formed an SIT which is like headed by a senior IPS officer rank lady officer. Despite that, the mob did not listen to them. They then took to stone pelting, and then police had to lathi charge them.
And besides demanding capital punishment for the accused, the protesters also raised concerns about the background check that the school did not do, and later the authorities also looked into it. Can you tell us what they found out?
Basically, the child welfare department of the state government, which actually during their prima facie, the officials from the Maharashtra State Commission for Protection of Child Rights, they actually observed that there was no background check on the accused person before hiring him. He was hired just a month ago, but his background was, his credentials were not checked thoroughly, which should be the ideal procedure while hiring a staff for a school. And then there was also no CCTV installation at the school. So there were other irregularities observed by this particular department. So they are also conducting a parallel probe in this case and thoroughly probing this matter ahead.
And Vijay, at this time, can you talk about the kind of things that the opposition parties have been saying about this case?
Actually, recently there was a scheme called CM Ladli Bahin Yojana, which is basically helping poor women in the state financially. So this scheme of the state government is getting popular in the state. So many protesters and opposition parties, they claim that instead of coming up such schemes, we prefer safety of girls and women over these schemes. So first you should ensure the safety and security of these girls and women in the state and then come out with such scheme.
लोकसभेच्या इलेक्शन नंतर त्यांना त्यांच्या बहिणी लाडक्या झाल्या एकतर, आणि त्यानंतर 200 कोटी रुपये खर्च करून त्यांनी जाहिराती केलेल्या संपूर्ण महाराष्ट्रात 1500 रुपये देऊन लाडकी बहीण योजनेचा. तुमच्या सगळ्यांच्या चॅनलवर काल मी पाहिलं एका महिलेची वेदना. त्या बदलापूरच्या महिला काय म्हणत होत्या की या सरकारचे 1500 रुपये आम्हाला नको, आम्ही सरकारला 2000 रुपये देतो, पण आमच्या लेकी सुरक्षित ठेवा. हे कालची.
This was MP Supriya Sule from the Nationalist Congress Party, who we just heard, and she is among the many opposition leaders who have been talking about this case. And Vijay, among the things that these leaders are pointing out is also the appointment of Ujjwal Nikam as the special public prosecutor in this case. Can you tell us what concern they are raising about this?
So while convincing the protesters and replying to the allegations made by the opposition party, the state government said that they have instructed the police department to prepare a watertight case in this matter and ensure that the culprit is punished with the strict punishment. And they have also appointed special public prosecutor Ujjwal Nikam in this case to ensure that they get a conviction in this particular case, keeping the track record of Mr. Nikam in mind. But since Mr. Nikam, he had contested the Lok Sabha election from BJP ticket, and there were also allegations the trust of this particular school is somewhat connected to some BJP leader. So the opposition leaders have raised allegations saying that if the state governments appoint Ujjwal Nikam as special public prosecutor in this particular case, then there will not be any transparent investigation in this case.
Right, and meanwhile, several members of the ruling state government have said that these protests are politically motivated. But Vijay, tell us, where do things stand at the moment and what can we expect going forward?
The senior IPS officer, Aarti Singh, she has started investigation, who's also heading the SIT. She, along with her team, also visited victims' family, spoke to them in length to understand the matter well. And they are now focusing on collecting strong evidence in this particular case. And because of Tuesday's violence in the region, there was a heavy police protection in the area. The internet service was suspended in Badlapur on Tuesday and Wednesday. And now the investigating officers who are investigating the riots case, they are scanning the CCTV footages of the Badlapur railway station and CCTV cameras installed outside the railway station to identify the mob, the people who resorted to violence, who pelted stones at policemen. They have already registered a case in this particular matter. They are now identifying other people who were involved in the violence and they will be arrested soon.
And next we talk about the assistant teachers recruitment examination, specifically the one which was conducted back in 2019. This examination, conducted of course to recruit assistant teachers, had faced multiple allegations in UP, with candidates claiming that there were irregularities in the final selection procedure. The Allahabad High Court had been hearing this matter, and last week it directed the UP government to prepare a revised list of the 69,000 assistant teachers who had been selected based on the examination. In this segment, Indian Express's Asad Rehman joins us to talk about the case. Asad, first tell us a bit about this examination and who are assistant teachers.
So the Basic Education Department in Uttar Pradesh, which looks after primary and secondary school education, has these exams from time to time, and they recruit assistant teachers, which are essentially teachers only, but that's the first step. If you want to be a teacher, or your entry level job is of an assistant teacher, then you become a teacher and then you can get promoted further. So essentially it's a school teacher's job at government schools, and this exam, the ARTE, which is the Assistant Teachers Recruitment Exam, was held in 2019. 4.10 lakh students had appeared for this exam and 1.4 lakh candidates had qualified the exam. Now, after this exam was held, the Uttar Pradesh government had put out a cutoff and had recruited these 69,000 posts. Basically, they had hired 69,000 through this exam. But after the results and the cutoff and the recruitment was done, some candidates who had appeared for the exam approached the Allahabad High Court and they leveled allegations that the recruitment process was not done as per the rules under the UP Basic Education Teachers Service Rules 1981 and the UP Public Services Reservation for Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe and Other Backward Classes Act 1994.
Okay, so what they were saying was that the required process was not followed. What were some of their allegations to the High Court?
The candidates who challenged this said that the number of people who were recruited through this exam, that reservation was not given as per the rules. Now, in their petitions, they said that the OBC candidates were given only 3.86% reservation, while the mandate is for 27%. While scheduled caste candidates were given only 16.2% of the posts instead of the 21%, which is as per the mandate in the UP Basic Education Teacher Service Rules and the UP Public Services Reservation Act 1994. This is what the candidates from OBC and SC categories alleged in their petition in the Allahabad High Court. This exam happened in 2019. The recruitment was done early in 2020. Then these candidates first filed this petition. It went to the Allahabad High Court, and they've also regularly, for the last 4 years, they've regularly held protests in Lucknow and other parts of Uttar Pradesh. They've held protests outside the Chief Minister's residence. They've held protests outside the UP Basic Education Department's head office in Lucknow. And they've also had multiple run-ins with the police where they've been lathi charged, where they've been forcefully removed from sites where they've been holding protests.
So they challenged the results of this exam in the Allahabad High Court. The High Court hears the matter. Talk about what the court said in its final ruling.
The court has directed the Uttar Pradesh government to prepare a fresh list of candidates based on the rules and regulations under the two acts, which basically dictate who will get how much representation in public undertaking or public sector recruitments. So the court has essentially directed the UP government to prepare a fresh list. Now this has certain ramifications because around 69,000 teachers are already teaching and they've been hired and they've been teaching for the last 3 years and now they will have to be removed from their jobs. The court has also said that it should not be done in the middle of the academic session and that if they have to be removed and the new selection process has to be done, it should be done when the new academic session for the school students start. So that is essentially what the court has said. The allegations in the petitions also included some issues with regard to SC candidates and ST candidates who have made the cutoff for general category candidates. So essentially, if you are an SC candidate and you make the cutoff, which is for a general candidate, then your recruitment has to be done in the general category and not in the SC category. So they've also said that that's not happened and SC candidates who've got the cutoff for the general list have also been included in the SC reservation list, which as per them, and the Allahabad High Court has also established this, that there were issues and that there were some irregularities and that the state government will now prepare a fresh list.
And Asad, any matter related to reservation has political implications, and this is no exception. In fact, opposition leaders like Rahul Gandhi have been talking about this and have been targeting the Yogi-led BJP government in the state. What do we expect will be the political fallout of this ruling?
So the political ramifications right now, I'm going to say this out in very clear terms. OBCs in UP constitute around 50% of the state's population. Now, in the recently concluded Lok Sabha elections, there's been a seeming almost clear shift that they've moved from the BSP and the BJP to the opposition India alliance. The Congress at the central level and in UP has made reservation and constitution as their main pitch for their electoral campaigns. Now, this issue becomes important for the Yogi Adityanath government in Uttar Pradesh because on one side, there are some unreserved category candidates who have already started working. Now, if they're removed, then that results in some resentment amongst the non-reserved candidates, which essentially means upper caste candidates and general caste candidates. So it's a very tricky situation for Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. So if he does this as per the court's order, he might fear that the general caste might not like it. If he doesn't, then the OBCs and the SCs will have a problem with it. If the state government goes to the Supreme Court and challenges this Allahabad High Court order, which was passed on August 13, then that is a message to the OBCs and SCs that the UP government is not doing something that the court had mandated them to do. And with the opposition, very important to mention that the Samajwadi Party recently won 37 out of 80 seats in UP, which is a big shift if you compare that with 2019 when the BJP had swept the elections with more than 60, I think they won 63 seats during those elections. So the BJP's come down to 33, and if you believe political analysts and if you go around in Uttar Pradesh, there's a seeming shift that the OBCs and SCs have moved to the India Alliance with this pitch of reservation and with this pitch of constitution. That's one of the main things that the UP Lok Sabha elections had. And so it will be very difficult and it is a complicated situation. And Yogi Adityanath had given a statement a few days ago saying that nobody's rightful rights will be snatched away and whichever category candidates have to be recruited as per the rules, which is a vague statement. But so far, the UP government has not come out and said that we are going to challenge this in the Supreme Court. So it does seem like that the UP government is going to follow the Allahabad High Court's directive and do what the court has asked them to do, which is to prepare a fresh list as per the rules in the two acts mentioned and to give proper reservation as per the mandate.
And in the end, we talk about the Supreme Court's latest statements in the Kolkata rape and murder case. The top court had taken suo motu cognizance of the matter and yesterday pulled up the state government and also urged the doctors who are on strike to return to work. Indian Express's Apurva Vishwanath, who reports on law for the paper, told us more about it.
The Supreme Court on Thursday resumed its proceedings in the suo motu case it took up on the alleged rape and murder of a junior doctor at the R.G. Kar Medical College in Calcutta. On Thursday, the CBI made a disclosure to the court that its investigation is a challenge because the scene of offence, quote-unquote, has been altered. The Supreme Court took note of this and also pulled up the state government on a number of aspects, from the timing of the registration of the FIR to the timing of the cremation, which took place at 11:45 at night, when the body was recovered around 9 or 9:30 a.m. in the morning. So the CGI in an observation said, what is questionable is the role of the principal. The principal of the college should have come straight away to the college and directed filing of the FIR. The court asked who he was in touch with and why there was a delay in filing the FIR. Apart from this, the court constituted a national task force to address safety issues of medical professionals. This was also in the previous order. The court had clarified that the National Task Force will engage with diverse stakeholders and will ensure safety and well-being of doctors and other medical professionals in their workplaces. There was also some apprehension expressed by some doctors that they are likely to be targeted for the protest which took place in Calcutta over the last few days. And the court said that it will take care of their concerns and they must resume duties. The court also made an appeal to the doctors who are protesting to give up the strike and go back to their work. Following the Chief Justice of India's appeal, the strike in AIIMS, Delhi has been called off, and it's likely that many other places also will see doctors going back to practice.
Now, in another related development, West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee yesterday urged Prime Minister Narendra Modi to introduce a stringent central law enabling a 15-day trial and exemplary punishment in rape cases. In the letter to the Prime Minister, the Chief Minister noted that incidents of rape, often coupled with murder, have increased in the country. She emphasized that it is the duty of everyone to put an end to this so that women feel safe and secure in the country. It is worth noting that the TMC government in the state has been under pressure since the incident took place on the 9th of August. This pressure intensified when later a violent mob vandalized hospital premises, allegedly attacked protesters and damaged police vehicles. Later, the Indian Express found out that 2 TMC workers were among those who were identified or arrested during the vandalism. You were listening to 3 Things by the Indian Express. Today's show was written and produced by me, Shashank Bhargava, and was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it, share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can tweet us at Express Podcasts and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.